batting with a 1-1 count. He'll swing and foul this one back in our direction. And we do apologize for the slight delay, but we're trying to figure it all out here, just like you are, baseball fans. Hope you're doing great. It's the final Friday of February. It is game 1 of a 3-game series today, tomorrow, and Saturday. Sometimes we'll do a doubleheader in this series. They got Prendergast leaning and picked him off. Tyler Kaltrider with a little bit of a long hole. Prendergast was bouncing at first. That'll go in the books as a 1-3, and there is now 1 out in the top of the first inning. You see so many teams in their base stealing and their running games now get some early action at first, bouncing around, a lot like guys will do at second base. You're seeing that at first so often now. But Kaltrider just with a longer hold that time, and he got Prendergast bouncing in the wrong direction. Then an on-target throw to the first baseman, Jack Pokerock. So let's set the defense for you. The battery mate for Kaltrider is Sean Pokerock. He's a senior. There are a bunch of talented seniors on this team. They've added some veteran transfers that will add their own spice to the mix. There's your first strikeout for Tyler Kaltrider. He caught Jason Cassidy looking, and now there's 2 gone. So here we go. Pokerock catching. Pokerock at first. That's Jack Pokerock, the twin brother of Sean. He is in the mix this year. Batman and Robin combo up the middle is Ben Jones at second. Brandon Garcia at short. Third base this year, Roanoke transfer, Kyle Moshier. And then in the outfield left to right, Joe Munitz in left, Quinn Madden in center. And first-year man Kyle Flora playing right field. Connor Moore is the DH. The hitter right now is senior Jacob Daimling. He is a right fielder. One of 2 lefties in this York lineup. Prendergast is actually the other. Daimling fouls the first offering away from Tyler Kaltrider. Lynchburg in their home whites. York in the road green top with the gray pants. 0-2 count pretty quickly as TK is switched on and ready to go. Already 2-0 on the season for Tyler Kaltrider. We've got a lot of numbers we'll throw your direction here as this day goes on and as the weekend goes on. 0-2 is down and in. Pokerock couldn't stop it, but it doesn't matter. It's just ball 1. Prendergast, Cassidy, Daimling, 1, 2, 3 for York. Then it's Richard Klein, Matthew Wade, Alex Neal, Joe Urban, Luke Mosier, and Jackson Ford. Spartans pitcher will be Connor Reeser. Defense straight away for Lynchburg on an overcast day. Left fielder Joe Munitz is playing in pretty tight. He's not in the normal configuration. Swing and a miss. There's a TKO. 2 punch-outs in the inning for Tyler Kaltrider. And because of our late start getting on, we haven't even gotten to talk to you that much. So we'll just hang out and stay here and give you some more of the particulars for this game. Lynchburg 4-1 to begin the season. They are up to number 2 in the NCBWA D3Baseball.com poll. That's a real mouthful. Lynchburg actually number 1 in that perfect game ranking system, and there's so many of those now that you can get confused with the rankings. And I think the guys and the coaching staff will tell you that it's nice to be recognized, but that stuff doesn't really matter much. What we want is at the end of the season, Lynchburg wants to get back to that College World Series, the NCAA Baseball Championships. Hornets got stalled out in the Super Regional last year, but any way you slice it, this has been one of the nation's top teams and a team we obviously love watching play. Lynchburg was 41-9 last season, 18-4 in ODAC play, 21-0 on Fox Field last year. The numbers on Fox have been nothing short of mind-boggling in the decade of the 20s. Again, we have so many great stats to throw your way. We don't need to get them all in here in the bottom of the first inning. We got career stats for guys like Brandon Garcia, Ben Jones, Nick Matfield not starting today, but all these guys are rewriting not only the Lynchburg record book, but the NCAA record book as well. You're going to get to see Brandon Garcia coming up here. And no active player in Division III baseball has more runs scored than Brandon Garcia. Lynchburg's leadoff man getting some looks right now at the starter, Connor Reeser. Nobody playing Division III baseball right now has touched home plate more than Brandon Garcia. I mean, it's just an incredible stat. It's 179 runs scored in Brandon Garcia's career. That does factor in what Lynchburg has done this season. Here is the Lynchburg lineup. The shortstop, Garcia, will lead off. His tag team partner, Ben Jones, playing second, batting second. Jack Pokerock will hit third. Quinn Madden cleaning up. Joe Munitz batting fifth. Kyle Flora sixth. Connor Moore is the DH batting seventh. Kyle Moshier is hitting in the 8-hole. And rounding out that lineup is Sean Pokerock. Brandon Garcia sporting some really good-looking red cleats to go along with the red batting gloves. He'll watch the first pitch from Reeser come in there for strike one. Reeser is from York Haven, Pennsylvania. We've got stats on York as well, so they will not be left out. We'll say hi to all the Spartan fans watching. Garcia under this one, floating foul, not in catching distance, and it's an 0-2 count. Brandon Garcia to begin the year, 5 for 19 this season. That equates to a .263 batting average. We've got new coaches we've got to meet and talk about. We've always got the context of last season and then, again, what these guys have done in their career. We've got first years that are quickly making a name for themselves. Kyle Flora specifically in this starting lineup, and Flora's hitting .500 on the season. Wow. 1-2, as Reeser missed high. We've got just a one-camera broadcast today, at least for now anyway, so got to keep that in mind and make it a little bit more like the old-school baseball radio calls. Shouldn't necessarily say old school because baseball on the radio is still very much alive and well as this breaking ball bounces in front of the plate, and it will create a 2-2 count for Brandon Garcia. Shortstop from Durham, North Carolina. Garcia ready. Here's the pitch. Ooh, nearly hit him. Brandon Garcia may be wondering if he should have stayed in there to let that ball hit him. That's a hit by pitch, and walks have certainly been a part of our narrative in the last few seasons for Lynchburg. They have led the country in walks multiple times this decade. And last season, they got hit by pitch 61 times. Garcia will get this one down the right field line. Long run there, but the catch is completed by the right fielder, Jacob Daimling. And there's one gone in the bottom of the first. Daimling seemed to psych that ball well, and even if he got a little bit of a late jump, speed took over there, and he was able to haul that one in for the first out. Here's Ben Jones now. A career .340 hitter, and just one of the best ever to put on a Lynchburg uniform. We're going to be giving these insane numbers his entire senior season, and we really should make a point, fans, to enjoy these guys like Brandon Garcia and Ben Jones. Enjoy watching them play. Always a bittersweet time when you're a senior. You know the finish line is in sight. Still a bunch of great baseball to play here. This is game 6 of 39 for Lynchburg. Did get one game canceled in that Greensboro showcase event that Lynchburg's been going to last weekend. They only got to play twice, Cortland and Salisbury. So Lynchburg does have some wiggle room to add a game 40 if that's a route they want to try to go. 1-1 count here on Ben Jones. Reeser rocks in the windup and misses south of the zone to make it 2 balls and 1 strike. We know we've got Brady Moore watching, so that's great. The director of baseball analytics and also the director of Brady Moore. We'll keep that joke alive at least for one more game. Reeser missed there, and the ball kicked off the catcher Matthew Wade's mitt to the backstop. 3-1 with 1 out. Jack Pokerock on deck. Ben Jones, a fine start to the year, hitting .353, 6 hits, 17 at-bats. Has drawn some walks. Not maybe the usual Benny Bases amount of walks as he fouls this one away, and it's a full count. Speaking of active leaders in things, Ben Jones is the active leader in walks in all divisions, not just Division III baseball. Nobody playing college baseball right now has more career walks than Ben Jones. That's mind-boggling to think about because the D1 and the D2 guys get more games than the D3s. we get time here. Didn't have the eye contact. No, that wasn't for the eye contact. That was Matthew Wade, the catcher, adjusting his apparatus. You think about Ben Jones, 150 walks in his career. He's Lynchburg's all-time leader, and he's still got the bulk of his senior season to play. This ball's drilled to the second baseman. Good job to hang in there and throw it over to first for the second out of the inning. That was Lucas Prendergast that really had to stay down on a hot shot from Ben Jones. There are two away here in the home half of the first inning. And here's Jack Pokerock, who has career numbers, but his first season in a Lynchburg uniform. Spent time at High Point, Patrick and Henry Community College, and also UNC Greensboro. 232 last year for UNCG. He's off to a pretty fast start. 7 hits, averages .318 as he confirms with the umpire about the strike zone. It is a called strike one. So far this year, Lynchburg has beaten George Fox 10-0. The loss was to Rhodes in Game 2, 4-3. And Travis Beasley said, we felt like we gave that game away a little bit. Full credit to Rhodes, but Lynchburg thought they weren't sharp in some areas that they normally are. Lynchburg took down Piedmont 7-5 on Valentine's Day, and then the 2 games in Greensboro last weekend. Schedule got adjusted there because of weather and a very long game involving Christopher Newport University. But down in Greensboro, Lynchburg beat Cortland 12-3 and Salisbury 12-1. And those are both ranked teams as well, like Lynchburg. Those were statement wins for the Hornets on the road last weekend. This one will catch the top rail of the zone and makes it a 2-ball, 2-strike count with 2 outs. Quinn Madden is on deck should the inning get that far. Pokerock will foul off a breaking ball. Boy, Reeser was quick off the mound there, like he was going to try to chase that one down. I know as a righty, his motion, his fall away is kind of taking him that direction, but he had some spring in his step. And we'll run it back at 2-2 to Jack Pokerock. Can play some third base. Wanted to play some third base, but first base right now for Lynchburg. Full count as this one is low. York 0-1, 1-ball game against Catholic on Wednesday in our nation's capital. York actually scored first in that game, did have a lead. Jack Pokerock will foul this one away. And we've got our first real long at-bat of the afternoon. These two teams will play tomorrow. That's a noon first pitch tomorrow, and then same thing Sunday, 12 p.m. first pitch, all 3 here, of course, at Fox Field. Then the Hornets will hit the road to Greensboro Tuesday, at Maryville on Wednesday. It's a punch-out for Connor Reeser. He came after JP with a lively fastball and got him out of there. Both sides retired in order. We are underway here at the Fox Fortress on Lakeside Drive. We'll pause for a moment and collect our bearings and get it back for the top of the second. All set for the top of the second. It'll be Richard Klein, the DH, leading off for York. Tyler Cartwrighter, 2.38 earned run average so far this season. It was 2.68 last year. TK was the ODAC Pitcher of the Year. He was the Virginia SID Pitcher of the Year in the state. He was the Region 6 Pitcher of the Year, and he was a second-team All-American. Obviously, expectations will be high for Cartwrighter coming into this one. I think he's one of those high achievers. He puts the high expectations on himself. So anybody else's expectations won't outweigh what TK has for himself. To recap that top of that first inning, Lucas Prendergast drew a bases-loaded walk, not a bases-loaded walk, pardon me, still early in the year for the broadcaster. It was a full-count walk for Prendergast. He got on first and then was subsequently picked off by Cartwrighter. And then 2 strikeouts. That means TK has faced the minimum, although this is just the 4th batter to step in, the DH Richard Klein. Klein hit .350 in a bit of a smaller sample size last year, 21 hits, including 2 home runs. It's a 2-1 count here, as TK is one of those pitchers that works exclusively out of the stretch. He'll pepper the bottom rail of the strike zone and make it a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Continue with some of these numbers from last year for Tyler Cartwrighter, because they really are incredible, and they're worth reviewing, and it does tell you, again, what the expectations are for him this year. He was 8-1 last season, 95 of those TKOs, 95 strikeouts to just 13 walks. Batters hit a measly .243 off Tyler Cartwrighter. He went 7 innings or more 7 times. Oh, nasty pitch right there. That did catch the lower edge. Klein tried to sell maybe that it was ball 4, but the umpire rung him up. 3 straight punch-outs now for TK. And there's 1 gone in the top of the second. Here's the catcher for York, Jr., Matthew Wade. So I think in addition to, obviously, all the strikeouts and being hard to hit, the fact that you gave your ball club 7 innings or more of work 7 times says a lot about that dependability. You really save the bullpen. You keep those bullpen arms really fresh for later on in a series, later on in a season. TK did have 1 complete game last season. Quickly an 0-2 count on Matthew Wade. You're seeing a lot of the things that made Cartwrighter great last year. Pitches, that bottom portion of the strike zone, at the knee, just above the knee. He can elevate, of course, and will. 0-2 count as Pokerock slides outside. Slider off for ball 1. It is a lot of fastball and hard slider for Tyler Cartwrighter. Does have a split finger that he will mix in, and I think he would like to throw that a bit more this year. When he really gets cranking, it's fastball, slider mix, and it's hard to hit. This ball is popped over Ben Jones' head. There's your first hit of the ball game. Second runner to reach for York is Matthew Wade. Fine piece of hitting right there. Went the other way. Squared that one up. Ben Jones kind of gave it a courtesy jump, but wasn't going to be able to pull that one out of the sky. It'll bring up Alex Neild. Neild is from Arlington, Pennsylvania. He's a senior playing left field today. And Neild has 2 home runs already to begin the year. 2 jacks on the road in D.C. against Catholic. 1 in the first inning. That was a 5-run first inning for York. They went up 5-0 against Catholic. Catholic answered with 3 in the bottom of the second. It's a 5-3 ball game. York turns around and scores 3 in the top of the third, thanks to Neild's second home run. So at that point, it's an 8-3 ball game. Catholic ends up winning the game 11-8. So that tells you after York got up 8-3, it was then 7 unanswered for Catholic. York ended up with 6 hits. Prendergast had a double, Neild with the 2 home runs. So half the hits were extra base hits. That's a good sign, just not quite enough of them. York committed 3 errors as well. And that's the only game they have played this season. 25-19 last year for Mike Scappa's squad. 0-2 count on Neild with 1 out. Cartwrighter trying to pepper that outside edge and just missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Lynchburg won all 3 of the meetings last year. A little bit of a revenge factor from 2024 when York came down and stole a series here at Fox Field. Not easy to do. Not many teams have gotten multiple wins against Lynchburg at Fox. There's a swing and a miss from Neild. Strikeout number 4 for Kaltrider. He's rolling early, isn't he? 4 of 5 right now for TK. Have gone down via the right-handed TKO. Here's Joe Urban, third baseman, senior from Islip, New York. 315 last year, 299 in his career. York's got a real good mix of senior and junior players with resumes and really guys that have proven themselves at the collegiate level. So they're a bit like Lynchburg in that regard. It's a team that will have high expectations. Coach Mike Scappa always has his squad ready to play. Almost 30 years on campus between his playing days as a very good catcher at York, an assistant coach, and then also head coach for the Spartans. One count with 2 gone. Urban is the 7-hole man for York. Went hacking at a fastball and came up empty. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 away here in the top of the second. Outfield straight away, normal depth. Same for the infield, bar the first baseman, Jack Pokerock, holding on Matthew Wade, who has the game's first base hit. There's one low and away that Sean Pokerock slides into and keeps off the back wall. Sean Pokerock falling in that category of guys like Brandon Garcia and Ben Jones who have been starting for a long, long time. Remember, Pokey was, just like Jones and Garcia, so instrumental in the national championship run back in 2023. And we've got career numbers for Sean Pokerock that are going to blow your mind a little bit. His season to start 2026 is pretty darn awesome right now as well. 2-2 from TK. He kicks and fires. Swing and a miss. He got another one. How about 5 TKOs through the first 2 innings? Kaltrider yields a hit, but he is looking very strong on the mound here at Fox Field. York with no runs on 1 hit, 1 runner left stranded. And we'll stay here as we move to the bottom of the second inning for the Lynchburg Hornets. Quinn Madden will lead off. Joe Munitz, Kyle Flora. The outfielders coming up next for Lynchburg. Center, left, and right in that order. It's 4, 5, 6 for these Hornets. Let's tell you some more fun team things here. How about that? We got a streak at home now for Lynchburg. Some of the more superstitious fans hate it when I give this or when I give these numbers, but it's 23 straight wins now on Fox. They've won 23 games in a row at home. The record in the last 66 games on Fox is 58-8. And that does include 2 York wins from a couple seasons ago here when those Spartans, who, as I said, they're always ready to go. They're always scrappy. And they have a lot of talent as well. You know, sometimes when you say a team is scrappy and they're ready to play, it kind of doesn't give their talent enough credit. I think York has that talent as well. And in that 2024 season, if you remember, York ended up playing something like 7 or 8 tournament teams, something like that. They usually do a game or 2 with Shenandoah each year as well. And the Hornets from Winchester made the tournament that season. So York, Mike Scappa puts together a schedule that is loaded with heavy hitters. And the MAC Commonwealth Conference is very good as well. Messiah and Alvernia, 2 teams selected in front of York in their preseason poll. Back to Lynchburg. They were selected number 1 in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference preseason poll. They have won 3 ODAC titles in a row. They were the regular season champs last year at 8-4. Regular season champs in 2023. Came into the tournament as the 4 seed back in 2024, but ended up winning it en route to the 12 wins in a row that postseason. And that was a trip to East Lake, Ohio for the College World Series, bowing out to the eventual champion that year, Misericordia. 1-1 to Quinn Madden. Cue ball from cue ball that goes off the end of the bat to Prendergast at second. And there's one gone pretty quickly here in the bottom of the second. Joe Munitz, Jolton Joe, is a junior now. He steps in, batting .412 this season. Joe is 7 for 17 early in the 2026 campaign. Joe Munitz, a guy that had a rise in that 2024 season, did not start out as an everyday starter. He was really a guy that was coming in being asked to put down sacrifice bunts in specific situations. But Joe, quickly, because of his talents, got in the lineup and just hasn't been able to get out since then. He's a junior, took a good pass at that one from Connor Reeser. It's a swing and a miss for strike one. Career number right now is 350 for Joe Munitz in those 2+ seasons. Connor Reeser last year. Give you some of his numbers. As the 1-1 to Munitz is low. On the season last year, Reeser made 9 appearances, no starts. He was 2-1 with a 7.24 earned run average. Struck out 13, walked 8. So just over 13 innings of work. Not a huge sample size for Reeser, but always like to note these guys that are getting the ball in game 1 of a series against obviously a really good Lynchburg team. That says something about the coaching staff's belief in number 39, Connor Reeser. 3-1 to Joe Munitz. He'll ground this one foul. Prendergast has been busy. He'll catch, straighten, and throw. This one a little bit low into the outfield side of the bag, but no problem for the first baseman, Jason Cassidy. And there's 2 gone now in the bottom of the second. Trend developing early. It's 3 ground balls to Prendergast. Garcia flew out to right, first at bat, and Jack Pokerot has struck out. Kyle Flora now. What a player, just a first year, man. 10 for 20 already, and there's 5 extra base hits in there. Breakdown is 3 doubles, 1 triple, 1 home run. He really impressed everybody in the fall just with his ability and his confidence. It's not cockiness, it's just confidence. And I think the other guys see it. Ooh, off the end of the bat, Prendergast is going to be busy again. Snap throw, that was low, but first baseman Cassidy held on. So we'll tell you more about Kyle Flora lately. Lynchburg has gone down in order, 6 up, 6 down through 2 complete. Still a stalemate here at Fox Field in Lynchburg. Welcome back to Fox Field. We're on the campus of the University of Lynchburg. Kyle Haney, and so much fun in this press box. We've got great history just in the press box, and great history at Fox Field and all over the campus here at the University of Lynchburg. Get ready for spring break next week. But we're going to be busy. Of course, noon first pitch tomorrow for York and Lynchburg. Noon first pitch on Sunday for York and Lynchburg. And then these Hornets will hit the road for a game against the Greensboro College Pride. This ball swung on and blistered up the middle. Luke Mosier, the shortstop, I'm giving you the breakdown on the schedule. He just steps in, pumps one over the outstretched, gloved left arm of Tyler Kaltreiter. Second hit for York. Mosier is on. Second time they've had the leadoff batter on. Prendergast was erased on a pickoff in the top of the first inning. Jackson Ford, junior right-handed hitting center fielder from Centerville, Virginia. 1 for 5 last year. He will get the bunt out and tap it foul. Jackson Ford did not play. Yes, he did. He substituted in against Catholic on Wednesday. No at-bats, though, for Jackson Ford this season. That's always something to watch for in the early going. You've got a selection or a group of players that's going to play every single day. Both these teams will have some guys that play all 3 games and start, probably in the same spots in the batting order. I think Prendergast and Daimling come to mind for York, and for Lynchburg, Brandon Garcia, Ben Jones. Really, maybe actually the first 5 guys in the batting order for Lynchburg might be in those spots all 3 games. Then you have a group of players that is going to see action or activity in 1 or 2 games this weekend. Bullpen guys, kind of fall into a different category there. They're sort of their own animal. And obviously, Tyler Kaltreiter will start today for Lynchburg. Maybe shouldn't use the word obviously. Might not be obvious. But TK gets the ball today. It sounded like Logan Tapman will start for Lynchburg tomorrow and Nick Matfield Sunday. Everything's subject to change in baseball, much like in life. 1-1 from TK. Looked like Ford did offer it that. Yes, the first base umpire agrees with me, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Nobody gone in the visitors' half of the 3rd inning. Overcast skies here at Fox Field today. Pretty good temperature-wise. We're in the mid-50s right now. There is a breeze blowing out to right field. Not the strongest wind we've ever encountered here at Fox. Kaltreiter will throw over to first to keep tabs on Luke Mosier. Running game last year for York. In years past, they have not run a ton. They didn't run a whole lot last year. 35 stolen bases. It was 35 for 45 last season for York. Kaltreiter missed the outside corner. And it's 2-2 now. For reference, Lynchburg in the running game last year was 110 for 138. Haven't been running quite as much this season. Lynchburg, that is. Still very much in the arsenal, very much an arrow in the quiver they can go to. This is a Lynchburg team we think is going to have quite a bit more power this season. Lynchburg 6 for 6 in the stolen base department this year. But the Hornets have already clubbed 21 extra base hits, 15 doubles, 2 triples, and 4 homers. Full count delivery coming up from Kaltreiter. This one's bounced to Jack Pokerock. He'll absorb the 2-hopper and step on first base for the first out of the inning. Mosier advances on the 3 unassisted. Back to the top for Lucas Prendergast. Took the bases-loaded walk last time up. Senior from Bridgeton, New Jersey. Really good player. We've been watching this guy for 4 years. Falls under that scrappy category. Hit over 350 last year. Right around 350 in his career. He's basically an everyday in the lineup guy since his first year. Good pitch from Kaltreiter. Start the at-bat 0-1. Lynchburg's got 7, 8, 9 due up in their half of the 3rd. Nobody on yet for the Hornets. TK is allowed a walk and 2 singles so far. First time we've seen a runner in scoring position today. That's Luke Mosier. This one pulled foul. And now it's no balls and 2 strikes. Kaltreiter struck out 11 against York last year on this weekend. 10 the next week against Washington and Lee. And schedule is set up that way again this year. Lynchburg will be hosting the Generals from Lexington 1 week from tomorrow to open up ODAC play. Everybody's busy in the conference today and tomorrow. Pick-off attempt. Wow, right on target there. Great delivery by Kaltreiter. Good coverage by Brandon Garcia. And so many teams in the ODAC are off to good starts. Looking at the standings right now, there is one ball club in the conference that has a losing record right now. W&L is 500 at 3-3, but only one team that has a losing record. That's EMU. They've got 3 wins. They're 3-4. This one hit in front of the plate. Poker Rock couldn't keep it sequestered, and that will allow Mosier to move up to third base. So potential early go-ahead run, just 90 feet away here for York. I expect Lynchburg will keep the infield back right now so early in the game, but again, you just never know. 1-2 count with one gone. Top 3 at James C. Fox Field. 3 straight super regional appearances for Lynchburg. The banner has been adjusted in left field. Ooh, that one hit Prendergast. He's a guy that does wear some body armor on that right elbow there, and it looked like it went right off the plastic for a hit by pitch. 2 on now. First time today that Kaltrider has pitched with multiple runners on base. So far this year for TK, that's hit by pitch number 1. Hasn't hit a batter yet in the first 2 starts. He is 2-0. The earned run average, 2.38. 14 strikeouts coming in, 2 free passes. He's had 5 punches today and 1 walk so far. We're in the top of the third. Swing and a miss by Jason Cassidy. He was down looking on strikes in his first at bat. Cassidy was a high school teammate of Lynchburg's Connor Moore, who will lead off the bottom of the third inning. Both going to James Madison High School, the legendary Pudge Jorman, the coach there. And I think most of our Lynchburg fans will remember Josh Jorman and his playing days here at Lynchburg. So we know Cassidy comes from good baseball pedigree. Two-way guy as well, pitching for York and hitting. I assume we'll see Jason Cassidy pitch at some point this weekend, either as a starter or a bullpen guy. You just gaze at the numbers and try to get a feel for what York might do. And based on what Cassidy did last year, I think he's going to be thought of as one of their better arms. This one up the middle. See how many Lynchburg can get. Straight out of the glove by Brandon Garcia, safe at first. York will plate 1 on a chopper from Jason Cassidy that Brandon Garcia hustled to. Had to turn back and flip it to Ben Jones covering at second. We've seen that double play tandem do so many incredible things and thought they might have pulled one off there, but instead it's a fielder's choice 6-4 that will score the run. And York is on the board first. Lynchburg's played from behind this season in these first 5 games. This ball's hit well. Garcia, backhand side, popped out of the mitt. Probably going to go down as an E6. We'll wait and see the official word from our official scorer inside. Cassidy moves up to second. And there's 2 away now with sophomore designated hitter Richard Klein. Klein hit .350 last year. One nothing ball game here. York has plated 1 in the top of the third inning. Good stop and scramble by Sean Pokerock. Pokey's defense has gotten so much better over the years. We'll get a mound visit from pitching coach Mike Solbach. That'll give us some time to talk about some other things. We could continue talking about Sean Pokerock's defense. He is one because of the nature of catching. I think we'll see Pokey probably catch 2 of the 3 this weekend. And Lynchburg has some options at that other catcher spot. And again, it's such a physically demanding position. Really hard to get through a college baseball season with just 1. 1's impossible in the modern age, really. 2's tough. You almost need 3 or 4 dependable backstops and signal callers for your baseball team. But we'll definitely see Sean Pokerock a lot this weekend. Could be a DH option for Pokey in there as well. 1-0 count to Richard Klein. Runners on first and second. This ball's lifted into center field. Quinn Madden is there on the move. A feet first slide to make sure he secures the catch, and does. York has struck 1-0. Spartans on top. 1 hit, 2 left stranded. And the visitors lead here early on this final Friday of February. We saw assistant coach Mike Solbach. So let's tell you about the rest of the coaching staff here. We've got brand new hitting coach Drew Henry, and I really do say brand new because Coach Henry was at Maryville in the fall. Lynchburg's Luke Lowry took a position in professional baseball, and that made a spot open. Drew Henry was a good candidate, some great conversations. Maryville was up here last year for that regional that Lynchburg hosted. And, you know, Division III baseball, especially with Maryville being in Tennessee, some small circles. There was already some familiarity there with Travis Beasley and Drew Henry, and connection went a little further, and now Coach Henry is on campus here at the University of Lynchburg. We've also got Matt Balance coaching first base this year, working with the outfielders and doing so much. Coach Balance brings a really good baseball pedigree, played at Virginia Tech. Young, energetic coach. I think he will go far in this business. And Bryce Demery also has been hanging around a little bit this season. No doubt Demery, the Bryce is right. Great to have Bryce Demery still hanging around in a assistant volunteer coach capacity. We've already mentioned Brady Moore, the director of baseball analytics, and head coach Travis Beasley in his 3rd season. Coach Beasley is 82-27 in his 3 years as the head man here for Lynchburg. He was the associate head coach before that. And Lucas Jones and Travis Beasley, they just they did so much to lay this foundation, and it has continued to build and build. Not just the foundation. They're adding on levels here. Here's Connor Moore. He's got levels to his game. He'll foul this first pitch off and makes it 0-1. Well, high marks for Connor Reeser, the starter for York early. Like what he's done. He's come at the Lynchburg hitters with a sharp fastball. Got a breaking pitch to go along with it. And if he is the ace or the number 1 for York, they're going to be in good shape this year. They did play Wednesday, so starter there was, I believe it's Joe Ludwig was the starter in that game as Connor Moore watches this one go into the dirt for ball 2. Jake Ludwig, beg your pardon there, fans. Jake Ludwig is a 6'5", 235-pound southpaw sophomore. So Ludwig might be thought of as the quote-unquote ace. But I think Connor Reeser is in the conversation here. 3-1, though, as we shower the compliments in Connor Reeser's direction. Connor Moore adjusting his arm guard on the right arm. Left-handed hitter is ready to work here. This one on the inner third below the belt for strike 2. Connor Moore hit .459 last season. He had a ruthless tear that he was on in the month of April. Moore is ready with 2 strikes. Ooh, that one off the right thigh of Connor Moore. Lynchburg's got their first base runner. Hit by pitch. Dugout seems to like it. It'll bring up Kyle Moshier. Mosh is the Roanoke transfer. Hit .390 in his 2 seasons at Roanoke. He's a former Old Dominion Athletic Conference Rookie of the Year back in 2024. Mosh was playing second and short mainly for the Maroons. Being asked to play third base here for Lynchburg this season. And much like we've mentioned with Jack Pokerock, I mean, Kyle can still go play those other spots. He's such an athlete. I'm sure you could throw him in the outfield or at first base, and he could figure that out pretty quick. 3 for 17 so far this season. But Moshe just really impressed everybody when he was at Roanoke. He has reached in 4 of 5 ball games this year. He's been in that everyday starter category. 11 home runs for the Maroons in those 2 seasons. So he's got some power in that bat. He's shown that in the fall segment of Lynchburg's season, and then also a little bit here in the spring. Breaking ball will land for Connor Reeser. He is forced into the stretch for the first time today. He is one of those pitchers that works from a windup, unlike Tyler Cartwrighter. The Lynchburg offense was really cranked up this weekend, though. I want to revisit that. Some 6 of the 8 hits against Cortland were doubles. Lynchburg drew 17 walks in that game. And Lynchburg, a team that we've talked about at length with the pitch selection, strike zone discipline, taking walks, working counts. Interestingly enough, on that note, the win before that against Piedmont in that 7-5 victory, Lynchburg drew no walks. Credit Piedmont's pitching. They were in the zone. Lynchburg's win against Salisbury was in 7 innings. Actually went down 1-0. Lynchburg scored 2 in the bottom of the second and then played it 7 in the 5th to really kind of put the game out of reach from the Seagulls. 3-1 count. Sean Pokerock waiting on deck for Lynchburg. Double play depth for the middle. Third baseman's in a little bit tighter. He'll make a play right here. Mosheer's ground ball. They get 1 at second, and they turn it. 5-4-3 for the York defense. Urban to Prendergast, and then a good stretch at first by Jason Cassidy. All of a sudden, Connor Reeser has still faced the minimum. Here's Sean Pokerock. Pokey has been on a tear early this season. 7 for 15. He's been a doubles machine early on this year. For Lynchburg this season, Sean Pokerock has the second best average. 4 doubles already for Pokey. 9 doubles last year. Wild fact, 3 of them were in the ball game against Bridgewater. The offensive explosion against the Eagles. Lynchburg scored over 50 runs in those 2 games against Bridgewater. Sean Pokerock actually had 3 hits in that 4th inning where Lynchburg scored 21. He'll study this fastball just above the knee and on the outer third. That creates a 1-2 count for Pokey with 2 outs in the bottom of the third. Lynchburg in a 1-0 hole in the early stages of their home opener here at Fox Field. Reeser went with the breaking ball, just missed. Another one he liked. Wasn't exactly a K strut off the mound, but he just kind of bounces around. He's on his toes. He's bouncy. Fun to watch out there, though. Reeser's got some spark, and he's got some game. Pitching from the windup again, the 2-2 to Pokerock. This one will get fouled in the direction of Wake Fieldhouse. We have a decent crowd with us today. Actually, I'm going to amend that. It's above the decent category. Got some York fans in the green jackets that have made the trip. Got a lot of Lynchburg fans. Yeah, this is a good turnout here for the home debut for the Lynchburg Hornets. I think we'll get even more tomorrow as more people have the weekends available to come watch baseball. We hope you do. Here's another one that's down and in. Skips into the body of Matthew Wade. Good stop there by Wade just in case Pokey fishes at that. Now our count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom 3, Brandon Garcia waits on deck. Garcia flew out to right. Only ball Lynchburg's got out of the infield so far against Connor Reeser. Righty fires, and we'll do it all over again at 3-2. Almost an hour into the ball game now. It's had some flow. It's had some feel. Pitchers throwing strikes really helps. That's something you maybe think about all the time, but especially early in the season. One more time from Reeser. Got that one in on the hands. Good job by Pokey to fend it off right there. Here comes a long at bat. It is a long at bat. York, by the way, will be on the road again this Wednesday, March 4th. They'll visit Rutgers Camden, The Spartans will make their home debut on Thursday, March the 5th. Swing and a miss. Reeser is rolling here early. We're through 3 complete. It's York 1, Lynchburg 0 on Flo College. Top of the 4th, about to get underway. It's Wade, Neild, and Urban due up for the York College of Pennsylvania Spartans. 25-19 last year. Lynchburg 41-9. Hornets pitching as a group this season. Earned run average is a really good 2.63. It was 3.40 last year for Lynchburg. K per 9 is almost 11 right now for the Hornets. Bullpen numbers are good. Bullpen ERA is just 1.80 right now for Lynchburg. And the bullpen, as a group, has only given up 1 extra base hit. So that will be a strength for Lynchburg, and I think has been in this run that they have been on at the national level and at the conference level, being such a dominant force. Their bullpen is not an afterthought. Their bullpen is not guys who are just kind of hiding in there that aren't good enough to start. Lynchburg has always had bullpen guys who are really, really good and even bordering on great. And then a group of guys that are beyond great out of that bullpen. Thinking about Colin McGuire. Go back to some of those other great close. Uh-oh, this ball is swung on and pumped to left. Matthew Wade got into the home run strut early. That ball is way gone. Home run for Matthew Wade. Second hit of the ball game for Wade. Second run for York. He just hijacked an inside fastball there and took it right into the trees. We got a sportsmanship warning from the umpire about that bat flip from Matthew Wade. It certainly wasn't the most egregious bat flip I've ever seen, fans. But I'll say probably good umpiring just to step in there and address it and try to make sure things don't go any further. Tyler Kaltrider is always composed on the mound, always unfazed. Not going to feel good about getting the home run, but I expect you'll see this guy just get back in there and continue to throw strikes. Great swing by Matthew Wade to jump ship early here in the top of the 4th inning. 2-0 lead now for York. Matthew Wade last season hit 5 home runs. You know there's some pop in that bat, and he's got 1 this year. Wade, I guess we can say, has already built a 2-game hitting streak. He was 1 for 3 in the loss to Catholic on Wednesday. 0-1 count here to Alex Neild. Tyler Kaltrider did do exactly as expected and pepper the zone. Neild, he's got 2 home runs this season already. 9 last year. You got to be careful with this Spartan team. Again, they've got some power in these bats. Sharp slider from TK is off. Nealed held, and it's a 2-1 count. Still nobody out here in the top of the fourth inning. It's the other thing, that leadoff home run can be so destructive because you get a solo home run chopper here. Ben Jones on the move, sidearm throw, no problem there for Ben Jones. Out number 1 in the fourth inning. But the solo home run to lead off the inning, it's so tough because it kind of rattles the pitcher, obviously. And then you got another leadoff guy coming up, essentially. There's nobody out. Can have some really big innings that start with leadoff home runs. Joe Urban is the hitter now. Struck out his first time facing Kaltrider. Slider misses from TK. 1 ball, no strikes. Luke Mosier on deck. Lynchburg's got the top of the order coming up in the bottom of the fourth inning. Garcia, Jones, and Pokerock. Jack Pokerock, I guess we got to be specific when we got both Pokey brothers in the starting lineup. 1-1 now for Joe Urban. Just under 300 in his career as a Spartan. He'll face a defense that's straight away. The center fielder, Quinn Madden, hasn't played slightly in the right center gap. You see that American flag with some movement above the scoreboard. Tells you the wind is blowing out to right center. But not a super strong wind. Weather tomorrow looks great, by the way. Looking like mid to upper 60s. We could hit 70 tomorrow. Sunday, just a couple degrees cooler, and then the weather turns kind of nasty again on Monday. I think the Hornets will be glad to head south for Tuesday and Wednesday before it warms up again the back half of next week. Count is full. Joe Urban has shown some patience here against Tyler Kaltrider, who has walked 1 and hit 1. TK struck out 5. He's given up 3 hits, including the homer in this inning. This ball off the end of the bat into left. Joe Munitz on the run. He'll take it out of the sky for out number 2. Here comes Luke Mosier. He's a senior shortstop. Only played 6 last year, but playing some short this season for Mike Scappa. He did start against Catholic and had 1 hit there. 1 for 2 officially for Mosier. No batting gloves for him. Old school. Kind of cool when you see that. He's almost rocking like the 3/4 black sleeves as well. They could just be long sleeves pulled up, but always like that 3/4 sleeve look. Makes me think about the olden days here, as it's so fun, the history and connections in our game. And always great to talk about things that have happened here at Lynchburg. Future is now for this team, though. Again, high expectations, high hopes, high vibrations, too, I would say. I think the guys are feeling really good, and everybody's still probably in pretty high spirits, even though Lynchburg is down 2-0. 1-2 count. Good location there from TK. Went back inside. Got that ball in the inner third, above the knee. Lynchburg's going away this time. The 1-2. Off the plate. Got a sniff from Mosier, but not a bite. And we'll go 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 gone in a 2-0 game. Almost a true deuces wild situation. We're getting there. We'll have one eventually. Kaltrider went after him with the heater and got him. Punch out number 6 for TK. But York adds 1. Solo shot from Matthew Wade to left field. It was deep. That puts the Spartans on top by 2. We'll stay here again, and thank you once again for tuning in. Make sure you're checking out all of Lynchburg's social media. The LHSN team, even though we're on Flo, still the LHSN team until we find a better name anyway. And they're doing incredible stuff on the social media side with the content. And we're going to have an incredible crew of broadcasters this season. It will not just be me that you'll have to deal with. We'll get Evan Gates in here some. We'll get Ethan Morotsky. We'll get Joe Brennan, a cast of thousands and a cavalcade of stars. And there could probably be even more. Could probably is poor use of the English language, though, isn't it? Because could is not the same as probably. So we'll say at some point you're going to get a special guest or 3. maybe even today. We saw Nathaniel Mack, our great friend, the mighty Mack, former Lynchburg pitcher, was hanging around today. So he could threaten his way in the press box and sabotage us into giving him a microphone. We'll see. Lynchburg is going to have some of the seniors back from last season to do a little ring ceremony tomorrow after the York game. Again, with everything Lynchburg has done, a national title in 23, a return trip in 24 to the College World Series, with all of that, it's kind of easy to forget how good Lynchburg was last year. 41-9, a regional championship, a third straight ODAC title. By the way, Lynchburg has won the Old Dominion Athletic Conference 4 of the last 5 seasons now. And they've made 6 straight regional appearances. So, you know, we kind of talk about everything in the context of 23, the national championship and beyond. But 22 and 21 were really good for Lynchburg as well. And the Hornets were actually off to a great start in that COVID season as well when everybody got shut down. So this has been a growing concern and a building enterprise here down at Fox Field for a while now. But after all the wins and the championships, sometimes when you just make it to a super regional, it can feel like a letdown. But it shouldn't. We should recognize and remember what a great campaign last year was. And that's part of what tomorrow will be about with that ring ceremony. And you got to think there's so many programs that, you know, have never even made a super regional. Some have never made regional play. So the fact that Lynchburg last season losing out in super regional almost feels like a step back. It feels like a disappointment. That tells you what level this program is on right now. And Travis Beasley recognizes that. He recognizes the opportunities this year. Brandon Garcia's got an opportunity to become the first Lynchburg base runner. He will. He's actually the second, pardon me, because Connor Moore was hit by a pitch, and then there was the York double play. So Lynchburg has a second base runner in the ball game. That is Brandon Garcia. Here comes Benny Bases. Benny bombs. Ben Jones grounded out to the second baseman his first time up. 150 walks in his career. I said that was the highest active mark at any level, Division I, II, or III. Garcia's not far behind. Brandon Garcia's drawn 131 walks in his career. That does factor in the one he just took a few seconds ago. It's a ball from Connor Reeser. Second time through the lineup, especially a talented lineup, is always a danger spot for a pitcher and a pitching coach. But full compliments to Reeser and how he navigated the lineup the first time through. He did allow only one base runner. That was Connor Moore on the hit by pitch. Got Kyle Moshier to ground into a double play. Next batter. This is the 11th hitter Reeser has faced. Ben Jones works with a 2-0 count, so it's 6 straight balls right now for Reeser. Let's see if he finds the zone against Ben Jones. Sometimes you don't want to do that against a guy as destructive as Benny Bombs. The 2-0 was a good location, but just missed. And now it's 3 balls and no strikes. Jack Pokerock on deck. He struck out. The discipline you saw right there is part of the reason why Ben Jones is the Division III and University of Lynchburg walks leader. There's one on the outer half for called strike 1. Ben Jones just does not offer at a lot of bad pitches. Doesn't strike out much either. A lot of times high walk guys also have high strikeout numbers because they work those long counts. They hit with 2 strikes a lot. And Ben Jones and Brandon Garcia, neither guy really strikes out very much at all considering they are ultra patient. It's not that Ben Jones won't ever ambush a first or a second pitch. He will. But just the elite eye and plate discipline really, I think we can now officially say second to none. 3-1. Garcia's running. Half swing from Ben Jones. Head first slide from Brandon Garcia. He's in there safely. Lynchburg's first stolen base of the game, rather. And on the year, Hornets are now 7 for 7 swiping bags. It is a full count on Ben Jones. Ben Jones passed the legendary Avery Neves for the all-time walks lead here at the University of Lynchburg. Neves, 149 base on balls. Here's the payoff. Ooh, that one hit Ben Jones. Yeah, hit by pitch there. Benny is looking at his communication device on the left wrist. I hope that's all it is and not an injury situation for Ben Jones. Travis Beasley and Dane Bauer, our athletic trainer, are going to come check out Ben Jones. Never a great sign there, but we'll keep high hopes that everything is okay with Ben Jones. If we have to get into a substitute situation, Lynchburg will have some really good infield options. That's another thing about this Lynchburg team. They are so loaded with senior talent and with transfers that have been veterans at other places that you can forget there's some real firepower on the bench, some guys that have done some great things, and some other guys that maybe haven't had a chance to express themselves yet on the baseball field, but certainly capable and talented. Ben Jones has got the batting glove off the left hand, and he's kind of moving it around for Dane Bauer to look at. It looks like Dane, our athletic trainer, is satisfied with the results of that examination. I think Ben Jones is going to be just fine to stay in there. So it's the second hit batter of the ball game for Lynchburg. Connor Reeser plunked Connor Moore earlier. And now Ben Jones gets hit here. I mean, that was going to be ball 4 anyway. It's not one that Ben Jones leaned into or anything, obviously. And we'll bring up Jack Pokerock. Nobody on. Runners on first and second. See if York maybe puts a bunt play on. I know Jack can do that, but with his power, it's probably not going to happen here. Swing and a miss as Pokey was out in front. Looked like maybe Connor Reeser went to the changeup there, perhaps just a two-seamer with some downward action and a noticeable velocity change from the four-seam fastball. 0-1 start here. He'll spin and toss and keep Brandon Garcia in mind at second base. Running game still an option here for Lynchburg. Used that double steal a lot last year. And again, when you have great base runners, we'll put Garcia and Jones in that category. When you have great base runners, sometimes you put on a double steal. Other times they just do things on their own. We know how good these two guys are on the dirt ball reads, the DBRs. Garcia will be a candidate to advance on anything. That's low. 1-1. Jack Pokerock again out front. That looked to be a curveball from Connor Reeser. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nobody out with Quinn Madden on deck. Pokey's driven in 7 this season so far. The average is .318 for Jack Pokerock. Oh, this ball is going to go into right center field. Connor Reeser was looking for a coverage at second, and Lucas Prendergast, the second baseman, was not really close. He tried to hit Prendergast in stride and threw that into right center field. In some ways, York is fortunate that the center fielder was on his toes. That's Jackson Ford. Jackson Ford got to that ball in time. Because you got to think, if he's late getting over there, that is a long toss into home if Brandon Garcia tries to go second to home on a play like that, which he's a candidate to do. Corners are in for York. 1-2 count to Jack Pokerock. The pitch is ball 2. Nice stop by Matthew Wade. Notice something about Matthew Wade. He's still kind of one of those old school catchers where he uses the 2 feet stance a lot. He's not using the 1 knee down stance very much that you see so much from catchers now. Matthew Wade, he's ready to spring. Off the end of the bat here by Pokey. Garcia holding. Now he's going to run home on the flip to Connor Reeser. Throw goes by Wade. Ben Jones is going to be unable to advance from second, though. Call it an RBI ground out on kind of a strange play. Jack Pokerock was out in front, but got that one off the cap to the first baseman. Reeser came over, covered, turned home. He was not in time to get Brandon Garcia. Hollywood scores the first run for Lynchburg. Call that run number 180 in his career. Again, no active player in Division III baseball has touched home plate more than Hollywood, Brandon Garcia. Ben Jones still stationed at second with one gone in the bottom of the fourth inning. Lynchburg's cut the deficit in half. Quinn Madden fouls that one out of the catcher's mitt. 0-1 count. Yeah, good throw wouldn't have got Garcia. He did well to make sure the first baseman, Jason Cassidy, didn't come up and throw his direction. Brandon Garcia was probably 15 to 20 feet off the bag at third. Then when he saw Cassidy go to flip it to Reeser, who was covering, he then took off on the sprint for home. Good base running there by Brandon Garcia. 1 ball, 1 strike to Quinn Madden. Madden's out in front of this one, yanking it foul, and now it's 1-2 with 1 gone. Joe Munitz on deck in a 1-run ball game again. Madden hit .332 in 2024. That was his big breakout year. His big month was March in 2024. 32 hits and 35 RBI in the month of March. There's strike 3. Madden took that one looking. Great location from Connor Reeser. Third punch out for Reeser. And now there's 2 away in the bottom of the fourth. As Connor Reeser is solid. He continues to be solid. Reeser is a sophomore. 6 foot, 175 pounds from York Haven, Pennsylvania. He's going to keep these Spartans in some games. And remember, this is a Lynchburg offense that was humming right along. Joe Munitz is going to drop this one in over the shortstop. Ben Jones will turn for home. York will not have a play there. And now it's a tie ball game. Jolton Joe drives in Ben Jones for the second run of the game. Lynchburg ties it 2-2. That is Lynchburg's first hit. The no-hitter is gone from Connor Reeser. Garcia and Jones score. Nothing new there for Lynchburg fans. And a 2 spot here in inning number 4. Lynchburg's been pretty good with multi-run innings. That's the 12th time they've scored multiple runs in an inning this season. They were blanked in 1, 2, and 3 this one, but when you can score them in bunches, that's a great way to make up for some goose eggs on the board. Kyle Flora grounded out to the second baseman in his first at bat. Joe Munitz back on a slide. Some numbers on this Lynchburg offense through those first 5 games. They were scoring 8.8 runs per game. We don't talk about runs per game much in baseball. It's always average and on-base percentage and slugging. But in the other sports, basketball and football, you're talking about points per game all the time. Matthew Wade with that one. Might have been crossed up by Reeser. And fans, if you don't know that term, it means Wade called one thing, Reeser threw another. That's potential. Yeah, I see Wade's looking at the wrist communication. That sometimes is a tell as well. Could have been Reeser read the communication device wrong, or perhaps Matthew Wade did. Or he could have just whiffed. That happens sometimes too. 2-0 count. Flo's not going to get a pitch to hit yet as Reeser spins and throws to second. Let me finish the thought here. You hear about runs per game, not as much. But 8.8 runs per game is really incredible. Lynchburg scored 8.64 per game last year. They were never shut out last season. The low was 1 run against Hampton-Sydney. Lynchburg got held to 2 runs 7 times last season. Hornets were shut out 1 time in 2024. But this season, this Lynchburg offense has been maybe not all cylinders, but pretty darn close to it. I mean, it's a well-oiled machine. 3-0 count. Flora showing some patience there. He'll take strike 1. If you want those other numbers, coming into this game for Lynchburg, they were hitting .316 as a team. The slugging was .497. And they were on base at .431. All great marks. Ball 4. That is the second free pass that Connor Reeser has issued. He's hit 2, including 1 in this inning. And here comes a mound visit to talk to Connor Reeser. And we said coming into this inning, not a humble brag here of patting myself on the back, but we said second time through the lineup against anybody, but particularly dangerous lineups, can be difficult for a pitcher. And that is always an area you watch for when a team has had a multiple look situation. 1 at bat already for everybody in the starting lineup. You start to get an idea of what Reeser has, how firm the fastball is, what the shapes of the breaking balls are, and if there's another off-speed pitch, a change-up or a split, something like that to go with all those things. You share the information amongst your teammates, and also guys tire as well. I mean, that's got to be considered as an element in that too. You get amped up to take the ball against the number 2 team in the country. You come out throwing on adrenaline. You come out with a lot of fire. And then some guys hit a wall. It's hard to pitch with adrenaline. That's why you don't see a lot of max effort, intense kind of starting pitchers. Speaking of Max, I mean, Max Scherzer would be the counterpoint to that. He's intense all game long. Not many starters can pitch that way, though. Relievers, they can bring that intensity for a short period of time. So sometimes if you don't manage the energy level as a starter, you can look great one time through the order, but then maybe you hit a wall. And that's all speculation. Connor Moore, 0 for 0, got hit by a pitch in his first at bat. This one's down and in. 2-0 is the count now with 2 on and 2 outs in a 2-2 ball game. So if we get to 2 balls and 2 strikes right now, this really will be our first Deuces Wild situation of the campaign. And it is a campaign. It's a long season. 2-0 to Connor Moore. He'll foul it away. We're getting closer. Kyle Moshier is on deck. Mosh hit into that 5-4-3 double play. That came in the second inning. This inning, Garcia walked. Jones hit by a pitch. Jack Pokerock with an RBI ground out. Madden struck out. Single from Munitz to score Jones. Well, this ball's hit well from Connor Moore. Right center field. Actually, more just deep center now. And it is hauled in on a back pedal there by Jackson Ford. Good grab by Jackson Ford. Connor Moore just missed one there. Lynchburg has tied our ball game up. 2 runs on 1 hit, 2 left on for the Hornets. We're all knotted at deuces through 4 complete at Fox Field. We're set and ready to work here in the top of the 5th inning at James C. Fox Field, just off Lakeside Drive in the Hill City of Lynchburg. We're in the 4-3-4. We're in the 02, I think, 24502. I think that's still the zip code over here. Got a couple of them around the Lynchburg area. First pitch swung on and driven into right field by Jackson Ford. Center fielder just made a good grab. He jumped on the first one, and it will be hit number 4 of the ball game for York. Kyle Flora, the right fielder for Lynchburg, kind of came up and gave a look at first base. he was in, shallow enough to think about it there, but I think maybe it falls under the discretion, the better part of valor line. If you make a good throw, great, but a lot can go wrong there, especially with York's dugout right behind. What would that angle be? First pitch, run and hit right here. Ben Jones will knock it down. Great effort to get a glove on it, but that's going to be a single for Prendergast. That ball was hit well on the hit and run or run and hit, whichever you prefer. Back-to-back singles. 5 hits in the ball game now for York. This is a Spartan offense that's showing some of their class and showing what they can do. Gave you some numbers for Lynchburg offensively last inning. How about this York team? They hit .293 as a unit last year. They clubbed 36 home runs. The on-base percentage was south of 400, but this is a good team right here. Lynchburg got him at second. What a move there on the spin and throw from Tyler Kaltrider. Brandon Garcia is pumped. He should be. Great coverage and tag there from Brandon Garcia. It was just a sacrifice bunt situation. Forward leaning the wrong direction. It was just a split second too late getting back to the bag. And TK threw a fastball right in the catching zone too. Don't underestimate that element of the play. One gone now with a runner on first. Kaltrider's going to try to pick Prendergast over there at first. I mean, when you put that throw, right maybe at knee height for the infielder, you can really catch and make that snap tag all in one motion. When he's got to catch up high or stay up high, that can work, but it just takes an extra split second. And obviously, you don't want to spike it or bounce it to him on one of those coverages. That was perfect from Kaltrider. 1-0 count. And that's another element to his game, folks. In addition to being really good as a thrower, he's a complete pitcher in the fact that he fields the position. He understands stopping the running game. He understands his part in that with the pickoffs, and he executes them at a high level. A lot of coaches, or a lot of players, rather, pitchers, do not like to throw over and pick off. And they're just not very good at it. Kaltrider is. He takes some pride in that. 1-1 with one out. Swing and a miss by Jason Cassidy. Cassidy's played a pretty good first base today. He's batting with one on and one out. Visitors half of the fifth inning here. Prendergast got picked off earlier in the ball game. That was the first out of the game. He walked. And Prendergast, by the way, has put together a pretty good box score here. It's a walk, hit by pitch, and a single for Lucas Prendergast. Longer hold from Kaltrider. That's how he got him last time. Prendergast is, he's a senior, though. I mean, he's going to learn. And he has. So far on the year now for Prendergast, he's 2 for 4. Got a little bouncy early that time. But Kaltrider didn't throw over, and now it's a 2-2 count. Lynchburg defense back, other than the first baseman, Jack Pokerock. Swing and a miss. Jason Cassidy went fishing and didn't come up with anything on a slider that started on the outer third and chased out of the zone. More solid work from Kaltrider. Strikeout number 7 from TK. And there's 2 outs now for Jacob Daimling. Daimling is struck out, reached on the E6. TK kicks and fires. That one down and in. Looked like it wasn't where Sean Pokerock, the catcher, wanted it. Didn't see much of an attempt to frame that one. 5 hits for York officially. One for Lynchburg. As this ball's slashed over the Hornet dugout. Richard Klein is on deck. He's the DH for the Spartans. TK set, hands above the waist, now delivers another foul ball here from Jacob Daimling. Dimling homered in his first collegiate at bat. That was right here on Fox Field back in 2023. He was actually 4 for 4 across 2 games that weekend. Had some doubles in there as well. A really incredible start, and we got to witness it. One of the great things about college baseball, one of the great things about playing people every year and developing a file on guys and seeing these matchups. It's a lot of fun. I know Coach Mike Scappa really likes this matchup. It's always tough to come down to Lynchburg, but wants to play some good comp. Lynchburg has been that, obviously. Lynchburg has actually won 7 out of the last 9. The 2 were the series win back in 2024. This one up and away from Kaltreiter. Makes it that Deuces Wild scenario here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in a 2-2 ball game. 2 on might be just a little bit better, but this is still pretty good. Lynchburg won all 3 of these matchups last year. 6-5 was the close game, also a 5-1 and a 17-1 Hornet victory in there. This ball floated foul. Kyle Moshier is going to take the hat off and get to the boundary wall, hop up on there, and just kind of fake a catch. It was not even that close, but good effort by Moshe anyway. The intent was there, right? Kaltreiter will get settled again. Lynchburg defense straight away, outfield, straight up, medium deep. Pokerok kind of doesn't really stay on the bag when he's holding these runners. He's maybe a foot or 2 off the first base bag. That's not uncommon. See a lot of guys just anchor the right foot on the inside corner of the bag closest to home plate. But more and more you do see some players with a little bit of wiggle room over there. You don't really want to get in a situation where you completely give up the hole between first base and second base. And now Jack Pokerok will go behind the runner at first and not hold him on here with a full count, 2 out situation. Top of the 5th, payoff. Another foul ball, same direction that Dimling has been sending most of them. Hornets will have 8-9-1 due up in their half of the 5th. Moshier, Sean Pokerok, and Brandon Garcia. TK picks the leg and fires. He got him looking. TKO number 8. Kaltreiter still looking sharp in a tie ball game. York 2, Lynchburg 2 through 4.5 at Fox Field. We've been staying here in the middle portions of the innings. We can check in and throw some shout-outs out there as our great friend Jim Madden is checking in. And I can't wait to see Jim and everybody else at some ball games this year. It's, again, a schedule that is a lot of similarities for Lynchburg from previous seasons as far as the opponents go. Let's run it down for you again. First pitch at 12 tomorrow between York and Lynchburg. Hornets and Spartans will play game 3 of the series on Sunday. That's kind of a pro ball or a D1 feel there with a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We get so many double headers at our level that it's cool to do a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's fun. And then Lynchburg will get on the bus down to Greensboro, take on the Pride Tuesday. At Maryville Wednesday, and that's a Scots squad that is coming off a regional appearance of their own right here in this Lynchburg region. They lost to Emory on day 1, beat Marymount on day 2, and then ended up falling to Emory in that loser's bracket. Lynchburg then took care of Emory in game 3. Lynchburg went 3-0 in that region that they hosted last year. That was memorable for many reasons, but I think a big one for us was playing over at Liberty University and playing a game that ended around 1:27 Eastern Standard Time or something like that. Actually, I think we were in daylight savings time then. But, yeah, really fun to play a game that didn't start until after 11 and ended after midnight. I thought it was cool. Very unique experience in what ended up being a split-site regional because of all the rain we had in Central Virginia. Back to the Lynchburg schedule this year. 1 week from tomorrow, they'll open up conference play against Washington and Lee. That'll be right here at Fox Field. 11 a.m. is the first pitch on that one. Lynchburg's got a new name on the schedule coming up a week from Monday. That's Monday, March 9th. It'll be Nichols in town. Can't wait to do some fact-finding and some digging on Nichols and find out what they're all about. Lynchburg's got Pfeiffer at home. They'll hit the road to Eastern Mennonite. Once you get in that conference schedule, obviously we get less of those non-con games, but there's still a few in there against folks like Johnson and Wales. That'll be another new opponent for Lynchburg. Good schedule that head coach Travis Beasley has built. 0-1 start here to Kyle Moshier. And there is, again, a little bit of wiggle room to potentially add a game because Lynchburg was supposed to play Marietta down at the D3 Showcase event in Greensboro, and that one ended up being canceled. So occasionally when that happens, you'll find another coach who wants to get a game. The circumstances just kind of have to be right. But that is still potentially in the cards for Lynchburg. We'll see. Tell you more about that York schedule because, again, it's filled with heavy hitters. 1-2 count. Slider action there on a ball that Moshier is going to foul away. Oh, we've got a new pitcher out there, fans. I apologize. Our new arm is number 29, Sam Ross. Is that right? Double checking my own eyes and then also the roster. Here comes the 1-2. Moshe is out in front of this off the end of the bat. It won't leave the infield. Snagged by the shortstop, Luke Mosier, for out number 1. Connor Moore flew out to deep center field to end the 4th inning. It was a 2-run 4th for Lynchburg. We'll bring up Sean Pokerock. Pokey struck out looking in his first at bat. It was in the bottom of the 3rd. 7 hits already on the season here for Pokerock through the first 5. There have been 3 doubles in there as well. Pokey is seeing it. He's swinging it. Brandon Garcia waiting on deck. Yeah, great pitch there from number 29. This is the second pitcher that York has used. Sam Ross, 6'1" junior right-hander from Maryland. Lower arm slot than Reeser had. I think that was what tipped me off. He's got the 3/4 green sleeves under the green Spartan jersey as well. Reeser's got some real tailing and sinking action on his fastball. And mixing in that frisbee kind of slider there. 2-2 count with 1 out. Working from the windup. This ball's ripped by Pokey. Self-defense from Mosier. Throw was up the line and high, but Cassidy keeps the foot anchored to the bag for out number 2. Pokerock squared that one up. I think that'll give him some confidence, but still 0 for 2 today. Here's Brandon Garcia. Walked and scored the first Lynchburg run. Flew out to right in his first at bat. So York playing out of that MAC Commonwealth Conference. Non-conference games against Misericordia. Always a quality program. They'll play at Randolph-Macon on March 25th. At Shenandoah on March 31st. They've got Rowan this year as well. The team that eliminated Lynchburg last year on their way to a NCAA championship appearance. That's also at the Profs. Glassboro, New Jersey, Elizabethtown, Lebanon Valley. Yeah, some names that a lot of our Lynchburg fans will be familiar with, and if you just understand the Division III baseball landscape, you'll understand that York has a tough schedule. Hard to look at that strength of schedule stuff now because everybody doesn't really have much in the win-loss column just yet, but at the end of the year, when you go back and look at York, they might have one of the tougher strengths of schedules. Not sure where you put the S there, maybe on both words. But they'll have one of the tougher schedules in the country. 3-1 to Brandon Garcia. That is called strike 2. And now the count is full with 2 gone. We're in the bottom of the 5th. Fairly quiet so far. 2 hits in the top of the frame for York. Just 1 left stranded after a pickoff in there. Tyler Kaltrider has erased 2 runners on pickoffs today. Through 5 complete, it's 2 runs, 5 hits for York. Lynchburg, 2 runs on 1 hit. Typical Lynchburg game, right? Garcia fouls one off. Here comes another. This one straight back. Should be pitch number 8 of the inning coming up here as Garcia checking on the umpire. I think that one did catch a piece of our official on the way off of Brandon Garcia's bat. Good presence there from the senior Brandon Garcia. He's back in and ready to go against Sam Ross. Ross went inside, ball 4, back-to-back free passes for Brandon Garcia, and it will bring up Ben Jones. Benny Bases was hit by a pitch his last time up, grounded out to the second baseman. The 2-out hitting is something that coaches talk about, maybe not nearly as much as 2-strike hitting, but there is some elements to 2-out hitting, extending innings. Even if you don't score, you force the other team to throw more pitches. You continue to apply that pressure, make the defense make a few more plays. A lot to be said for an extending an inning, even if you don't score, even if it's not a true 2-out rally. See how long Lynchburg can play with 2 outs here. Ross has got good action on the off speed there, but it did miss, and it's 2-0. 2 down in the Hornet half of the 5th inning. We're over halfway. Not a big surprise that we've got ourselves a fairly low-scoring game. I mentioned Lynchburg's offense, but you think game 1 of a series? Probably a little bit more low-scoring than game 2, and certainly game 3 when the pitching staffs may or may not have been blown up. This one comes in above the belt, but called strike 1. 3-1 with Jack Pokerock on deck. RBI ground out for JP. Garcia bouncing, but he held. Here's another called strike. This one was down and in. Sam Ross kind of did not stick the landing at the end of his delivery. He's actually a righty that falls off to the third base side of the rubber, partly because of the lower arm slot. Ooh. Good pick by Jason Cassidy on a ball that bounced before it got to him on a pickoff attempt. Ross will check the runner and get set here. Payoff pitch coming. This ball's up and away, and it's ball 4. And that will make it. This is just going to be fun doing this all season long because you know it's going to happen a bunch. Career walk number 151 for Ben Jones. He has taken 151 walks in his career. It was 60 last season. Even his first year, he was very, very close to catching Avery Neves in that walk category that season. Jack Pokerock stares at one that comes in under his chin, and it's ball 1. Here's that pressure continuing to be applied. A great at-bat from Brandon Garcia where he fought off a couple 2-strike pitches to earn his walk. Ben Jones went to a full count. Jack grounds this one left side. Spin and throw by the third baseman, Joe Urban. And York is out of the inning unscathed. Lynchburg does get 2 on, but 2 left stranded for the Hornets in the bottom of the 5th. We're tied through 5, 2-2, York and Lynchburg. Through 5 complete, it's York 2 and Lynchburg 2. Kyle Haney back with you on Fox Field. So great to be back here in the Daniel E. Wooldridge press box. Mr. Wooldridge, such an important part to the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. He was in charge of the officials in the early days, and he is in the Lynchburg Hornets Hall of Fame. I think it's got to double-check the plaque outside. I should know this by now, but it's the Daniel E. Wooldridge Class of 56 press box here at James C. Fox Field. We've got Wake Fieldhouse down the right field line. We've got Schellenberger Field up there. We've got Turner Gymnasium. So much history and current history being made. I mean, we talk about Hall of Famers, but how many Hall of Famers on this current Lynchburg team? It could be a fun conversation to have. There's Tyler Kaltreiter. Peppers the outer third of the strike zone with a fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. The leadoff man is Richard Klein. Klein is 0 for 2. Flew out to center on a pretty good little sliding play from Quinn Madden. Klein struck out his first time up. TK's ready to go. Just off that time. Solid presentation there from Sean Pokerock to not really try to bring it back in the zone, but just sort of knock it down in a subtle move. Back to the edge there. 2-2, even count here with nobody out. Pokey's going to slide back inside. Let's see if Kaltreiter can get it there. Kind of did, but Klein fouls it away. Hornets are going to have Quinn Madden leading off their half of the 6th. Madden's 0 for 2. Joe Munitz is 1 for 2 with an RBI. Kyle Flora due up third, 0 for 1 with a walk. Another 2-2 delivery from TK. Breaking ball that Klein was on. Good piece of hitting there. Fouled off a fastball. It looked to be in a pretty good spot, from a pitcher's perspective, that is. And then fought off a tough breaking ball. And that's kind of the idea with your 2-strike approach. Be able to fight off everything, and if the pitcher happens to make a little bit of a mistake, well, then you can hit it hard still. This one's not hit poorly as Kyle Flora is going to get on his bike. Running to the right center gap. This ball is down for extra bases. Flo will pick it up and fire it into the relay there. That's Ben Jones who will hold. It's a double for Richard Klein. Just look at that sequence as a hitter there. Again, he fouls off a tough fastball, fouls off a tough slider, and then hits a double. I mean, that is exactly how your 2-strike hitting approach is supposed to work. Well done by Richard Klein. Not going to make Tyler Kaltreiter feel dandy to give up his 6th hit of the ballgame. And that's the 2nd extra base hit to go along with this man, Matthew Wade's home run. An absolute belter in his last at bat that went into the left field trees as Sean Pokerock will take a visit. I think that's probably to talk about, hey, remember this guy last time. We don't want to throw it here because he got to it and dumped it. Alex Neild is on deck. He's 0 for 2. That's part of the conversation as well in these situations, knowing what the on deck and on the hole hitter have done, or in the hole, rather. This might be all for Tyler Kaltreiter, actually, as Travis Beasley is now going to cross the stripe and head towards the mound. Yeah, I think TK will come out here in the top of the 6th inning. It'll officially be 5+ for Kaltreiter through 5 complete and pitched into the 6th. Not exactly what he wanted, but really not a bad result. Again, his standards are so high and what we've come to expect from him so much that coming out in the top of the 6th inning just maybe feels like less than what he wants. But maybe we can talk to TK after the game and get his thoughts on it. Officially, it will be 2 earned runs surrendered on those 6 hits, 1 homer, 1 double. Kaltreiter struck out 8 and walked 1. 1-hit batter in there as well. And now we get to meet Trent Judd. Trent Judd is a tall, hard-throwing right-hander from Salem High School, and he is one of the premier options out of the bullpen for Lynchburg. Dealt with a little bit of a knee injury in the fall, but he's 100% healthy. Arm feels great. He's a guy that can run it up there in the upper 80s, low 90s. He's got a power breaking pitch to go with that. And another arm for Lynchburg that when he's at his best, it really becomes pretty much a two-pitch mix with the hard fastball and the power breaking ball. On the season, this is going to be appearance number 3 for Trent Judd. He's pitched 4 1/3. He's yielded 2 hits, 4 strikeouts, and 2 walks. Judd, for me, had his coming out party back in 2024 when he pitched in a little midweek non-conference game against Methodist. Got some length in that game as well. I think he went like 3 2/3 or something like that. And just really impressed and kept a pretty good Monarch offense in check. He did not play his first year in 2023. It was just 4 appearances in that sophomore season. But he did get 1 win. And again, just continued to work on his game, continued to get better. The official roster at lynchburgsports.com, which you should check out, by the way, has him at 6'4", 230. He's not a small guy. I mean, he fills out the white jersey and white pants here for Lynchburg. Numbers last season for Judd look like a 2-0 record with a 3.3 Ernie through 24 innings, 24 1/3 specifically. And it was 23 strikeouts to just 6 walks. Wow. 23 divided by 6 is a K-to-walk ratio of 3.83. That's a very good number. It's a good number to look at for pitchers individually and staffs. Check out the K-to-walk ratio. We'll revisit Trent Judd right down Main Street with a hard fastball for strike 1. Matthew Wade is the hitter. 2 for 2 for Matthew Wade. 3 hits on the season already. He was 1 for 3 with an RBI in the loss to Catholic. Another one for Trent Judd there. It's the kind of velocity that can make you uncomfortable. Not that much harder than Kaltrider. In fact, TK's probably pretty similar velocity-wise, but it's just enough of a different look. Arm action, movement on the ball. Here's the 0-2. And a great spot from Trent Judd, exactly where he wanted that, about 2 balls off the plate. Good hold from Matthew Wade. That's a setup pitch. Let's see how Judd pitches off of it. Lynchburg defensively has Wade played slightly to pull. Shortstop Brandon Garcia starting with his heels in the grass. Here is the 1-2. Breaking ball just off. Another good location and a good take by Matthew Wade, especially when you haven't seen that before. That was nice. Outfield straightaway. Joe Munitz's normal depth in left. That's even knowing the power that Wade possesses after the solo home run. Judd's 2-2, swung on and missed. It's a strikeout. His first 9th time the Spartans have gone down on strikes. Information being passed from Wade to Alex Neild as he steps up to the plate. Senior from Abington, Pennsylvania. 2 home runs on the season already, 9 last year. 0 for 2 today. You talk about filling out the uniform. Neild, 6 foot, 220 pounds. Muscular frame, though. This one's hit to right field. A couple steps back by Kyle Flore. He'll get behind it, catch, and throw it into the infield. No advance there. Oh, that ball went off of Brandon Garcia's glove and actually went all the way to the fence. Runner did not advance. It was an interesting play right there. I think Garcia, with the fake catch, really held the runner, Richard Klein, at second. And he maybe violated one of the first rules they teach you in Little League. He took his eye off the ball, as that ball did go into the fence. Judd was there backing it up, as a pitcher is supposed to do on a fly ball to the outfield. But that could have gone awry for Lynchburg. Instead, no advance from Klein. Still in scoring position with 2 gone, and Joe Urban, the third baseman, stepping in. 315 last year for Joe Urban. Luke Mosier's on deck. Judd comes set from that slightly open stance. You see that left leg is closer to the first base line than the back right foot. It's on the rubber. Pitches on the first base side of that rubber. 1-0 start to Joe Urban. Look like something off speed from Trent Judd below the zone. 2 balls, no strikes. Top 6 at Fox. Both teams blanked in innings 1 and 2. York struck first in the 3rd. Single run there, and in the fourth, nothing last frame, and nothing yet here with a runner in scoring position. 2-1's the count. And there was the eye contact warning. The pitcher needs to get eye contact with the batter before he comes set. One of those rules that sometimes you don't know what's going on when the umpire pops out from behind the plate to make a gesture. Ooh, called strike two. York didn't like that one. Joe Urban certainly got the bat off his shoulder. We can say that. He did not think he went around. Got another deuces wild here in the top of the sixth. 2-2 with 2 gone in a 2-2 ball game. Judd deals. Breaking ball off the plate. And here we go, payoff coming. If you're the runner Matthew Wade, you're thinking score on any batted ball. That might include a ground ball to the infield that maybe gets mishandled at first. Inside target, Judd got it there. What a good get from Trent Judd to come in. He strikes out 2, leaves the runner stranded at second. He's pumped. Let's see if Lynchburg can take some energy away from that one. Trent Judd doing exactly what he is expected to do as one of those middle bullpen guys. Really kind of a stopper role, right? He's probably not the closer. That's thought to be Colin McGuire. Not that Trent Judd couldn't finish games in the 8th and 9th, but he's more of a stopper. He's more of a guy you bring in right now when maybe your starter or your second pitcher has run out of gas. Maybe it's just a different look. This time it really pays off. Another fantastic move by Travis Beasley and Mike Solbach. Anytime you've got Tyler Cartwright on the mound, it's going to be tough to go away from him. But back to the talents in that Lynchburg bullpen. Fantastic call to get Trent Judd in there, who was absolutely ready for the moment. 2 strikeouts. He got Neal to fly out. Now the question will be, does Judd stay in the ball game, or does he pass the baton to another one of those bully bullpen members? Love that energy coming off for Trent Judd as well. Dugout was giving it back to him. Real exchange going on right there. Gotta love it. Bottom 6 here will feature Quinn Madden, Joe Munitz, and Kyle Flora. Moore, Moshier, and Pokerock should Lynchburg extend things a little bit. Hornets went 9 up, 9 down in the first 3 frames. The 4th inning, they scored 2. Ended up sending 5 to the plate in the 5th. That featured 2 walks from Garcia and Jones. And those were both with 2 outs. That's when we got on our little tangent about 2-out hitting. If you can extend an inning, yes, you want to score. But even if you don't, there's some value there. You force a pitcher like Sam Ross to work just a little bit more. 1-1 count there as Quinn Madden checks it out. Ross with that arm slot and that movement, he probably falls into that funky category. It's a term you hear a lot about pitchers. Got that frisbee slider working. Madden swung and missed. 1-2. Couldn't land the frisbee that time. And you can have if you have a guy that's funky and he throws hard, well then you've just got a great combination right there. 2-2. From the windup, this ball's fouled away by Madden. Joe Munitz on deck had the RBI single. He and Jack Pokerock have the RBIs for Lynchburg. Madden's going to kind of doink one into shallow right field. The second baseman, Lucas Prendergast, comes over to snare it for out number 1 in the home half of the 6th. Joe Munitz, we can add up the first 5 games with this one. And that means Jolton Joe is 8 for 19 right now in the early going. Over 400. Virginia Beach guy. Started out as an infielder. Has now turned himself into an outfielder. Part of that was somewhat due to Lynchburg injury situations. Joe will hit this one to the shortstop. Backhand play, high throw, but no problem for Jason Cassidy. Mosier will get out number 2. Kyle Flora now. 0 for 1 with a walk. Flora's got speed, too. In addition to having power, he's a guy that could put down a base hit bunt. That's an option for Flo. Plays a game with a smile on his face. In addition to that confidence. Another Virginia Beach guy like Joe Munitz. Joe Munitz, Cox High School. Flora went to Lansdowne. Both really good baseball programs down there. So much good baseball and history in the Virginia Beach area. Flora hits this one. Center fielder broke in, but then Jackson Ford will retreat and grab it for out number 3. Pretty quick inning for Lynchburg. Munitz and Flora saw 2 pitches. We're still tied after 6 complete at Fox. York 2, Lynchburg 2. Through 6 complete on Fox Field. York has 2 runs on 5 hits. Spartans have left 4 on the bases, 1 in scoring position. Lynchburg 2 runs on 1 hit. All that happened in the 4th. They left 2 stranded there, 2 stranded in the 5th. So it's 4 total left on board for Lynchburg, 2 in scoring position. And Lynchburg has been charged with 1 error. Bunt attempt by Luke Mosier doesn't go his way, and it's an 0-1 start. Trent Judd does stay out. Faced 3 hitters in the top of the 6th. Kaltrider pitched to 1. Judd misses with the power slider there. And now it's an even count. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mosier's 1 for 2. Singled and struck out. Jackson Ford on deck. Getting to the point in the game now where you could maybe see some second shifters offensively, some reinforcements, pinch hitters. Moshier will slide to his glove side, throws. Jack Pokerock handled, and there's 1 gone. 3 pitch at bat. Still activity in the Lynchburg bullpen. Double barrel over there. Looks like a righty and a lefty for Lynchburg. But we'll wait and give you some official names if they come in. Here's an interesting defensive alignment for Lynchburg. Corners are slid to the middle. That's the first baseman, Jack Pokerock, and the third baseman, Kyle Moshier. They're both way off the lines here. Kind of an interesting alignment. You don't see a ton. Jackson Ford is the hitter. He's 1 for 2. Grounded out to first base, and then also a single. He was picked off. 1 of 2 Kaltrider pickoffs today. But a lot of times with the infield, they're slid to either one direction or the other. So if the third baseman is off the line towards second base, that'll mean the first baseman is closer to the first base line and vice versa. But right now it's like almost a middle squeeze. Brandon Garcia, the shortstop's a little bit up the middle here. I like it, though. Different look. Outfield is slightly in. Quinn Madden, the center fielder, is shaded slightly to the right center gap, the opposite field gap for the right-handed hitting Jackson Ford. He's from Centerville, Virginia. They're going to say he did offer at that bunt. Well, that was a nasty pitch from Judd. I'm not sure he meant to get it in there, but just kind of handcuffed Ford. Umpire gives the gesture to the York dugout, telling him exactly what happened. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 away in the top of the 7th. Judd fires, swing, and a miss. He got another one. Judd has struck out 3 of the 5 he has faced, and now there's 2 down in the top of the 7th inning. Top of the 7th inning. I might have said 6th there. Let's see if Lynchburg keeps that alignment. Prendergast is a lefty, so that's going to make Kyle Moshier come off that third base line anyway. Garcia does slide to the middle. First pitch swung on and slashed foul. A 1 start for Trent Judd. All indications are really good here for Trent. Attacking the strike zone. Knows that he doesn't have to pitch right down the middle. He can work the edges. He can work the shadows. And he will do that. This ball swung on and hit well by Prendergast. Kyle Flora fields on 1 bounce. What a start for this guy. 2 for 2 with a walk and a hit by pitch. Prendergast now on the season by my count. It's going to make him 4 for 6. No, he's 3 for 5. I got the math wrong already. It's still early in the year to be getting the arithmetic and calculus and long division wrong. It's like a 3 for 5 start on the year for Prendergast. He has not been retired today. Been on 4 times. Picked off once. Maybe that's an asterisk by that not retired stat. 0-1 now to Jason Cassidy. The junior from Vienna, Virginia, has not reached base. Yes, he has. A fielder's choice. He's 0 for 3, though. It sometimes helps to actually look at the score sheet before you start saying this stuff. Cassidy has struck out twice, once looking, once swinging, and there was a fielder's choice. So he did technically reach base, but 0 for 3. And, of course, the nuance there, we get some time to talk with some pickoff attempts. But the nuance there is that you don't get credited for a hit because if the other runner wasn't there, the thought is the defense would have just gotten you out at first base. So the fielder had a choice. That's where that little score-keeping thing comes from. Prendergast wants to run. Not a great ball to throw on for Sean Pokerock. He might have hit the runner with it. See if everybody's okay. Umpire is going to call time and do the same. It looks like everything is just fine. Should be stolen base number 1 of the ball game for York. I've got Lynchburg with 1 swipe. That was Brandon Garcia back in that 2-run 4th inning. So you got a good runner in scoring position for your 2-hole man. Not a bad spot for York College here. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Sun has broken through here at Fox Field. Wind direction seems to have changed a bit. Kind of blowing right to left from the right field foul pole over to the left. A crosswind, 2-1 count as that one was south of the zone from Trent Judd. Judd will rock and fire. 2-1's inside. 3 balls, 1 strike. Jacob Daimling on deck is also 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Did reach on an error. Back to the scorekeeping nuance, though. You don't get credit for a base hit. Hurts the average. 3-1 is sawed off. Runner kind of stood in front of Brandon Garcia a bit. Didn't matter. Hollywood on the move. Throws a strike across the diamond for out number 3 through 6.5. Still deadlocked. 2-2, Lynchburg and York. Moore, Moshe, Pokey coming up for the Hornets. A reminder once again to make sure you're checking out lynchburgsports.com for any kind of info that you need about the team, the stats, the season, the schedule. And as you know, baseball fans, these schedules change all the time because of the weather and everything else. So always a good idea to keep eyes on that and make sure you're following us on social media as well. We'll say hi once again to the York College fans. I think it's going to be a really good year for the Spartans this year. Again, I don't believe in jinxes, so I'll just go ahead and say that. I know the schedule's tough. They were selected third in the MAC Commonwealth preseason. To me, they're a team that could exceed expectations in that department. This is just day one of this series. Again, you know, Sunday, after you've seen some more bullpen guys and seen different hitters, opinions can change, sure, but the bones of this York team are really, really strong, really are. Fun watching them play, too. I mentioned the word scrappy a few times. It's kind of a word that means different things to different people, but I think most of us baseball fans have an idea of what that word can be defined as. Scrappy. Here comes a scrappy guy and also just a talented guy, Connor Moore. Connor Moore, a two-way player, pitcher. Numbers were great last year on the mound for Connor Moore. Limited sample size because Lynchburg was so thin at catcher last year. He didn't really feel great about Connor Moore pitching a whole lot. He'll tap the first pitch up the middle. Good slide and throw by Luke Mosier. Kyle Flores swung at the second pitch last inning. Joe Munitz swung at the second pitch. Moore grounds out on the first pitch. There's pros and cons to being aggressive. Lynchburg feels like they've got a good look at the pitcher, Sam Ross. Sometimes when you're too aggressive, you don't make the most of it. You end up making life easy for a guy like Ross. Moshier watches this one at the letters on the white Lynchburg jersey. Ball one. Moshe was the first hitter to see Ross. That was beginning that fifth inning. We're now in the bottom of the seventh. Two one. Sean Pokerock on deck. Lynchburg will have some pinch hitting options. With this 9, though, this 9 is just so destructive and so good. As a coach, it's probably tough for somebody like Travis Beasley to pull the trigger on pinch hitters. As much as you want to get those guys looks, and you know how good they are, it can be really, really tough to take out a starter. You know, he's in the lineup for a reason, right? Any of these starting 9. So, pinch hitting, it's a weird thing, and tough for coaches to make the right calls. You know, we were so complimentary of Travis Beasley last year. It seemed like every pinch hit move it worked. Ty Howlett was involved in so many of those pinch hit moves. And, this one off the knuckles from Sean Pokerock, but it's down. That is going to be hit number 2 for Lynchburg in this ball game. Not exactly high velocity from Pokey, but it's down for a base knock nonetheless. He just hit number 2. And now some pressure being applied to York with runners on first and second. And the top of the lineup is back in there. This is Brandon Garcia. He's 0 for 1. Flew out to right his first time up. 2 walks since then. Garcia on the season now has drawn 7 free passes. 7 walks to 5 strikeouts right now. Second time facing Ross. Corners are in for York. Probably not a sacrifice bunt situation, but Brandon Garcia will lay down a base hit bunt. In fact, that's something he really worked on in the fall. He was base hit bunting left and right, just trying to make sure that edge was sharpened. That was already an edge that he had in this game of baseball. He wanted to sharpen it even more. And he's such an outstanding hitter as he watches this ball go well wide, even count, 1-1. Here comes a mind-blowing stat. 57 multi-hit games in his career. 57 times in his career, he has had multiple hits. This one is just up and possibly out. 2-1 is the count. He's already got 2 multi-hit games this year in the first 5. Lynchburg comes in at 4-1. York 0-1. Last season, Lynchburg 41-9. York 25-19. This one will catch the outer black. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Ben Jones is on deck. Benny Bases has 1 walk. One hit by pitch, one ground out. Dugout coming alive to get behind Brandon Garcia. The 2-2 is a breaking ball that he managed to get a piece of and flare over our heads. Yeah, good body control there from Brandon Garcia. Did you see how he kind of had to get into the legs there and really ride it out to keep the bat in the zone long enough just to get a piece of that? That's a ball with less than 2 strikes. You might just swing over it intentionally so you don't make a weak ground out. Under this one, infield fly roll situation with runners on first and second. The batter is out. Ball is caught anyway, and that's out number 2 of the 7th inning. So Ben Jones, a proven run-driving in machine, will have a chance right here with runners on first and second. 145 RBI in his career. So far this season, Ben has driven in 9. Runs have really not been hard to come by for Lynchburg. Gave that number earlier, 8.8 coming into the ballgame. Full credit to York's pitching and defense. 2 right-handed arms on the mound have really kept the Hornets in check. A chance to bust free right here, though. 0-1, breaking ball comes in for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes. Lynchburg only scored 3 against Rhodes. That's the low this year. 10 against George Fox. 7 in the win against Piedmont. 12 against both Cortland and Salisbury. 2 right now. See how long Ben Jones can stay alive. Ball in, under it, left side. Catching distance for Alex Neal. He came in, had to backpedal, but does haul it home for the final out of the inning. Lynchburg gets 2 on. They strand at 2 through 7 complete. We're still tied at 2. Quickly moving into the top of the 8th inning in a tie ball game. We have been tied since the bottom of the 4th, by the way. York went ahead with 1 in the 3rd, also 1 in the 4th. Lynchburg, zeros in 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. They got the deuce up in the bottom of the 4th inning and just 2 hits in the ball game right now for Lynchburg. Hornets have drawn 5 walks. There's been 1 hit batter. So there's been traffic for Lynchburg. 6 stranded total right now for the Hornets, 3 of those in scoring position. There's been traffic, but just not quite the clock-punching base hit or moment that Lynchburg has needed so far. Hornets have done a great job limiting York offensively. Tyler Kaltrider started. Trent Judd in relief right here. Both squads have used 2 pitchers so far. Jacob Daimling leading off. Daimling, Palmyra, PA. The first career at bat was a home run to right field at Fox Field. He's going to remember this place, if for no other reason than that. Numbers against Lynchburg in the rest of his career haven't been bad for Dimling. Let's see. I had that number somewhere. Got to find it again for you. 2-2. Judd just missed. He was looking to carve up that outside edge. Dimling in the career just against Lynchburg. This again tells you these seniors, you can put a real file together against a team. 6 for 16 coming into the ball game. His 3-2 is sprayed over the Lynchburg dugout foul. 6 for 16, 4 extra base hits. That's the homer and 3 doubles. That's all just against Lynchburg. Cool when you can reference that. So often we can't. So often you only play 2 or 3 games in your career. Ground ball, right side, Ben Jones down to scoop and throw, all in one motion. And there's one gone in the top of the 8th inning. Richard Klein doubled in his last at bat. That was the last batter Tyler Kaltreiter faced. So this is hitter number 9 for Trent Judd. That could be another clue, maybe a pitching change after this. Sometimes you don't want those bullpen guys to get too overexposed. One time through the lineup can be enough. Trent Judd is a guy who, again, he can really fill any category. He can go short, medium, and long. So I wouldn't assume he's coming out of the game after this hitter. It's just maybe one thing to keep in mind. 1 ball, no strikes. Judd couldn't land the breaking ball. The 1-0 fastball is tapped to Brandon Garcia. Throwing on the run. He's got him. 2 gone. Love that about Brandon Garcia. He's got every arm slot. He's got all the throws. And he is so accurate. Much like we talked about with Gavin Collins in years gone by, he's almost more accurate from the sidearm and the low 3/4 and more accurate on the run. Hard to say that, though, because he's pretty darn accurate when he goes old school over the top, the traditional setup, left, right, catch, and throw. He can do that as well. Trent Judd just peppering the outer third just above the knee with that lively fastball. This is Matt Wade. Matt Wade struck out against Trent Judd. That was the first hitter Judd faced. 1 of 3 K victims. Judd got a swing and miss on the off speed. And now it's no balls and 2 strikes. Hornets are going to send Jack Pokerock, Quinn Madden, and Joe Munitz up to hit in their half of the 8th inning. Judd missed high. Say it was a miss. Could have been up there intentionally. Catcher Sean Pokerock kind of gave him a little gesture afterwards, so maybe not. Might have been a true miss. Here comes the 1-2. Ready, aim, fire from Trent Judd. This one's banged foul. Into the muddy area down the left field line. The warning track is basically a mess after some rain. Rain Thursday. Another 1-2 coming up right here. Judd just missed that time. Fantastic location again. 2-2 count. He really does work those edges. See if this is more of a center cut or continuing to stay on the shadows. Check swing, and it's a punch out. Trent Judd sits down Matthew Wade again. 3 up, 3 down in the top of the 8th. Lynchburg's got Pokerock, Madden, and Munitz on the other side.
And we welcome you back to Central Virginia here on James Fox Field as Lynchburg will bat in the heart of their order, going 3-4-5 with Jack Pokerock leading things off. They'll dig in from the right side. First pitch misses high. Pokerock 0 for 3 on the day. Struck out in the first inning, then back-to-back groundouts. Contest got off to a hot start offensively with a run in the third and fourth inning for York and 2 for Lynchburg in the bottom of the fourth as Pokerock sends one sky high, deep right field, and a can of corn for the Spartans. That will bring up Quinn Madden, the 50-year center fielder for Lynchburg. He's had a strong start to his campaign this year after missing action a season ago. The Spartans have held him quiet so far today. Can say that about most of the batters throughout the Lynchburg order. They have gotten a handful on base with free passes, but just 2 base knocks for Lynchburg today. Granted, one of those Hornets to notch a base hit on deck in Joe Munitz. This one sent sky high, an identical ball to last, and once again snared with ease. Two up, 2 down. And Munitz, the southpaw, will step into the batter's box. Fastball right down Main Street, taken for a strike. Munitz coming into today hitting .389. Now finds himself down in the count 0-2. Lynchburg just trying to break the seal after a handful of scoreless frames. This one down in the dirt, taken for a ball. It's a Lynchburg team that has hit the ball extraordinarily well this season as this one's belted down the right side. But same result, 3 up, 3 down, all balls going to right field. As we'll step aside and hand things back to our A1 in Mr. Haney.
What a cameo there from Joe Brennan. I told you it was going to be a cavalcade of stars, fans. We didn't know it was going to be in the bottom of the 8th inning, game 1, but it's okay. And a short inning for both squads. 6 up, 6 down in the 8th, and that brings on Colin McGuire, the guy the teammates call Bobby Bullpen. You know, we talked about active leaders in Brandon Garcia and Ben Jones, how they lead D3 baseball, in some cases all of college baseball is the active leaders in a few stats. Colin McGuire is actually the active Division III leader in saves. 14 saves in his career. And he has done some starting as well. And that's still potentially in the cards for Colin McGuire. But on now in a non-save situation, in a win situation, potentially here in a tie ball game, top of the 9th. It's York 2 and Lynchburg 2. Kyle Haney rejoining you. We had some softball on campus today. I believe Ethan Morotsky was down there on the call on that game. And Evan Gates is away on assignment for big track and field, conference indoor track and field coming up this weekend. But we will now shift and give the full focus back to the baseball diamond here because we've got a great one tied up in the top of the ninth. So often games are not close in the ninth inning. So this is a real delight here as McGuire gets the fastball in against Alex Neild, 0-1 count. Neild has 2 homers this season. He drove in 6 of the 8 against Catholic in a loss in our nation's capital on Wednesday. York is officially 0-1 in the early going. Lynchburg 4 to the good, 1 to the bad. There's a heater that was upstairs that Neild couldn't catch. And it's no balls and 2 strikes. Colin McGuire, a junior from Cross Junction, Virginia, near Winchester. Went to James Wood High School. The career numbers 9-5, 14 saves. The earned run average is 3.36. He has made 9 starts. Here's the 0-2 again. Kind of didn't get the release on that breaking ball and ended up kind of backing up towards Neild, but just ball 1. So it's 41. No, it's actually 43 bullpen appearances, 43 relief appearances, 9 starts for Colin McGuire, a.k.a. Bobby Bullpen. This season, he has appeared twice, given up 2 hits in 4 innings, struck out 6, walked none. The 2-2 is hit to left field. Did Neild get enough of this one? Yes, he did. This is a solo home run and a go-ahead shot from Alex Neild. That is the 3rd of the season for Neild. Take that back to last year. He's got 12 in the last 365. Second solo home run of the game for these York Spartans. Wow. Matthew Wade hit the previous one. Lynchburg, as you can imagine, a somewhat stunned response in the bullpen, or in the dugout, rather. We're a little bit stunned up here. This fastball is just north of the zone. 1-0 count to Joe Urban. Hornets, as the home team, of course, will bat last in the bottom of the ninth. So this ball game is not done yet. But my, oh my. 3-2 score. York got 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th. The 3rd has come here. Urban is in front and under this. Foul ground. Moshe struggling, but Kyle Moshier will adjust and make the grab for out number 1. We were in the middle of the accolade reel for Colin McGuire. He's human. He's just a very good human. Batters were hitting 143 on the season, this season against McGuire. 269 last year. His ball popped up. Pokey didn't see it. McGuire did. He was going to try to grab it before it went foul, but not in time. In his career now, Colin McGuire has given up 7 home runs. He's not invincible. Again, he's just very, very good. Alex Neild is a really good hitter. 3 jacks on the season. 9 last year. 12 in the last 365 days. He is batting 6th. Good player from Abington, Pennsylvania. He's put his ball club up by 1. 3-2. Breaking ball from Colin McGuire. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 gone. Top 9. Lynchburg has not lost a game on Fox Field in a while. Bottom rail fastball, does catch enough of it. Punch out. Strikeout number 1 for Colin McGuire, out number 2 of the inning.
Up to bat, number 4, Jackson Ford.
Kaltrider struck out 8. Trent Judd punched out 3. Colin McGuire's got 1. That adds up to 12 total. The key number for York right now is 3-2. They're on top by 1 run. Jackson Ford, the 9-hole hitters, made a couple good plays in center field. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lynchburg does want to come back. It'll be 6, 7, 8 starting it off in the 9th inning. Soft tapper, left side. Nice lateral movement by Moshier. Throws across, and it's out number 27 for York, but they get a big, big blast from Alex Neal. One of 2 solo home runs today. Let's see if Lynchburg has got to come back in the cards on the home opener at Fox Field. Bottom of the 9th inning, we've got a new pitcher on. It's Jason Cassidy, Jr. from Vienna, Virginia, was playing first base. He is inserted in the ball game now. I already mentioned once that he is a two-way guy. The numbers last year were pretty good. 4 and 2, no saves. It was a 2.92 earned run average. Struck out 21, walked 14. Batters hit 260 against Jason Cassidy last year. But he's on in a save situation to try to close it out now against the Lynchburg Hornets. Hornets playing from behind, trying for a little walk-off magic. They'll need 1 to tie, 2 to run it off for win number 5 this season and keep a win streak at Fox going on. It's 24 in a row at Fox Field. Lynchburg has won 3 in a row this season. 5 up and 1 down total. Here's Kyle Flora. Freshman is 0 for 2 with a walk. Flew out to center on his the second pitch he saw last at bat. I always like to give these close game numbers. Lynchburg this season is actually 0 for 1 in one-run games. They lost to Rhodes 4-3. Last year, 11 and 4 in one-run ball games. And in games decided by 4 or less, the old one swing of the bat rule, Lynchburg was 22 and 8 last season. They got a 7-5 win against Piedmont this year. That means they're 1 and 1 in that 4 or less category this season. It's a 1-1 count to Kyle Flora. Flora blisters one up the middle. Shortstop dove, but comes up empty. There's your tying run on board in the form of Kyle Flora. Should be hit number 11 on the season for Flo. Here's Connor Moore, and we've got a great little story within the story here. Connor Moore is facing his high school teammate, Jason Cassidy. Both these guys went to James Madison High School in Northern Virginia. They were on a state championship winning ball club. Now they're squaring off on the diamond here in the Hill City of Lynchburg. More like the first one, and he flared it away. Hang on, we got is it a balk? I think it was a balk. I think Cassidy did not come set long enough, and they called him for a balk. So should be 0-0. Yeah, umpires confirmed that. 0-0 count. Runner moves into scoring position. Flora's got good speed out there, by the way, folks. Connor Moore is 0 for 2. Flew out to deep center. Another one into center field. We saw this earlier with a different pitcher. Flo is now 90 feet away. Pressure can do strange things to a baseball team, and you have to think part of that was pressure applied on Jason Cassidy. We saw a ball go into right center field earlier. That was in a 2-run fourth inning. Is a critical mistake going to hurt York again? Should be error number 2 on York, I believe. Okay. Well, Connor Moore's got the sack fly in play now. Infield is also drawn in now for York, by the way. Sometimes when you're leading by one, you'll keep the infield back in these situations. Coach Mike Scappa electing to draw the interior defenses closer. Here's the 0-0. Moore has swung at 2 pitches, but it's actually just 0-1 now because of the balk and a foul ball. Back to the high school teammates right here in the center of our stage. Got to think they know each other's game pretty well, right? Jason Cassidy knows what Connor Moore likes to hit, maybe knows what he can't hit. And Connor Moore knows what Jason Cassidy has on offer up there on the slab. That was a disappearing kind of off-speed pitch that Moore could not stay back on. He's got a small smile on his face. Maybe just exactly what we were talking about. It's thinking, I know he's got that in there. How come I didn't see it coming? 0-2 on Connor Moore. Kyle Moshier is on deck. Pinch hitter on deck, though, maybe. Moore punches it through, and we're tied. Connor Moore got one off his high school teammate, Jason Cassidy. Moore really works that 2-strike approach, likes to choke up. He punches that one through the drawn-in infield. And that's a moment right there where if that infield stays back, does the second baseman have a chance to catch that ball? Maybe. Maybe. This will be a pinch runner here for Lynchburg. That's Parker Cato checking in the ball game. Kyle Flora ties the game. A single. Gets to second on a balk. Gets to third on a ball that got thrown into center field, and he scores the 3rd run of the ball game. And now, pinch hitting will be number 2, Jacob Wright. Jake Wright is a sophomore from Chesapeake. Played 24 games last year, 7 starts, 12 hits. He hit .333. He's got the winning run on first base. Jake Wright showing the bunt and pulling it back. Does not offer on a pitch that really wasn't that close from Cassidy. Jake Wright on for Kyle Moshier. If we go to the 10th inning, expect to see maybe Maddox Sutsui or Kellen Clark play third base for Lynchburg. Jake Wright is an outfielder. He probably won't be going to third base. 1-0. Wright pokes at it but can't get it between the lines, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Still Sean Pokerock on deck. Doesn't look like a change coming there for Lynchburg. Parker Cato does have good speed. Let's get you his running numbers from last season. Could be a steal situation. Lynchburg clearly wants to bunt him into scoring position. But Parker Cato is the kind of guy you can't forget about as a base stealing threat. Last year for Parker Cato, 4 for 6 in the stolen base department. Cato played in 32. He's a starting right fielder for a bit for Lynchburg. 2-1 to Jake Wright. Pulled it back, and he did not offer it that. 3 balls, 1 strike. Nice work so far by Jake Wright to not help the pitcher, Jason Cassidy. Cassidy has blown the save, but he can still get his team back in the dugout with a chance to win the ball game in extras. Bunt down from Jake Wright. Soft throw. Did the second baseman stay on? He did. That's an out. 1-4. It does advance the runner, Parker Cato, into scoring position. Well, this is a lot of fun. Sean Pokerock with a chance to be a hero for Lynchburg. He's done this throughout his career. What a great way this could be to not start your senior campaign, because Lynchburg's played 5 games after all, but what a way to start and end your home debut, potentially, your final opening day at home for Sean Pokerock. He'll take ball 1. There is base open, of course, with Brandon Garcia on deck, Ben Jones in the hole. Winning run is at second base, Parker Cato. Modest lead. There's a nice location on a sinking 2-seam fastball from Jason Cassidy. The York outfield is normal depth. Any ball that lands over your head is going to score Parker Cato. If you can keep the ball in front, you have a chance to either throw him out at home or maybe third base coach Drew Henry just holds Parker Cato at home. 2-1, one out in a tie ball game. 3-3. Pokerok pounds this ball over the second baseman's head. Parker Cato, green light. He's going to cruise into home. Lynchburg walks it off. The home win streak continues. Lynchburg 4, York 3. Colin McGuire will actually get the win despite giving up the solo home run as the team goes bonkers right there behind first base. Sean Pokerok with an RBI single. It was Connor Moore's RBI single to tie the game. That scored Kyle Flora, who started the inning off with the single. Wow, what a way to start things on Fox Field as we get to queue up Snake Farm here. Lynchburg, it is 24 straight wins on Foxy right now. And it came, I guess, under strange circumstances, but great teams find a way to squeeze out wins. Lynchburg did that today. Tip your cap to York College. Great pitching in the start from Connor Reeser. He went 3 innings without giving up a base hit. Then it was Sam Ross, we think, that came in, and Jason Cassidy will get saddled with the loss in this one. Run down a little box score items for you here. York had 3 runs on, it looks like, 8 base hits officially. York ends up leaving just 4 on base. Part of that is the 2 solo home runs that they scored on, but just 4 left on for the York College Spartans. And there were 3 extra base hits in there for York. Home run from Matthew Wade, home run from Alex Neal, and then there was a double in there from Richard Klein as well. The loss will be Jason Cassidy's, his first of the season. Officially now, York has gone to 0-2. And, of course, we're going to try all this again tomorrow at noon for Lynchburg. They get their 4 runs on 5 hits. 3 of them came in the bottom of the 9th inning. Before that, Joe Munitz had an RBI single. It's an RBI single from Jack Pokerok. The other hit in there was Sean Pokerok. Pokey is the only Hornet to have multiple hits. Lucas Prendergast, by the way, had 2 singles, multiple hits for York. But back to Lynchburg. They'll officially leave Sean Pokerok on base there in the 9th, but that doesn't really matter. 7 left on base, 4 runs, 5 hits. Lynchburg had 1 error. York officially no errors on the board, but I think maybe those pitching throws to second may fall under stolen bases, but may go for errors there for the York defense. We'll clean it all up for you tomorrow, and we hope you'll stop by and see us. The broadcast will be improved. We'll crank up around 11:50 a.m. and get ready for Game 2. And it should be a great one. For Lynchburg, they've won 4 in a row this year. Season record is at 5-1, 24 straight on Fox Field. York 0-2. Kyle Haney saying, so long, but not for long. We're back in less than 24 hours. Noon, first pitch tomorrow. Hope you can check us out. Have a great Friday evening, everybody. We'll talk to you for some Saturday baseball on Flo College.